It's 1:25 a.m. Monday, October 10th, 2022. I'm really not tired. And I was watching Sisyphus on Netflix. And I finally finished the season of the entire series, or whatever this first season is. It's like 16 episodes. And this whole time travel thing and timelines, it does something to me emotionally. There were people on that show that disappeared as if they never existed. Or somebody that know what that feels like. To know people in your life and then to have them not be there anymore. It's kind of an unexplainable grief. Every time I feel it, it's like a reminder of something I've forgotten. And then there's a void in that spot. It's like missing someone that you never met or that you don't remember. It's like the feeling of wanting to go home, but you don't know where that home is. Or if it's a person, or a feeling inside you. And some of us only have a parallel to that sensation when it was mirrored back to us by other people that we cared for. And when those people are gone, whether through death or life or manipulation, it kind of feels like it's the beginning phases of that void being created when they start to leave. And that's when most of us are clinging on even more. I remember when the timeline shifted back in 2016 and 2012, mainly in 2016 and 2017, especially June 16th. That was a really fucked up timeline day. A lot of 2016 was really weird, wasn't it? I remember all the nightmares I was having prior to that for about a year. And I was having those nightmares of this life. I was having prophetic nightmares, or clairvoyant nightmares, whatever you want to call them. Visions of this version of me living this life. And that other version of me that was having those nightmares felt like he was dying because of the grief. It was so much. And I remember telling And the person I was with, I would tell him everything. He was my best friend. He was my family. He was closer to me than anyone or anything other than God my entire life. He could read my thoughts. It was strange. We were inseparable until we weren't, you know. So I didn't just lose one person. I lost an entire family in one person, and they lost the same with me. And we've all been through this. But one thing we haven't noticed is timelines, variances, and the choices we make. I was forewarned, and I warned him, and he did not listen. I was warned, and I did not listen. We walked right into the same future we were trying to avoid. And it could have been completely diverted at any point, whether it's an ex or a friend or a family member or an employer or an employee. All of it would have been different had there been communication on both sides. And you know what's funny? If anyone ever goes back in time, then the versions of us and who we are now would cease to exist. We would become a branch on the timeline that gets pruned. But the other versions would go on the way they should have, you know? Something like that has been the theme in a lot of TV shows I've been watching, which is weird, because I keep trying to pick the most random show I can that has nothing to do with anything. And it's usually sci-fi shows, and somehow I end up always watching something to do with timelines. At least for a recent few months. The Seven Lives of Leia, the Sisyphus show. Man, I need to go through my Netflix and give you guys a list of what to watch. The people we were and the people we are now walked the same path. In some way, who we were never existed. Who we are shouldn't have existed. It shouldn't be this way. Not for you, not for me, not for the world. Everything seems slightly wrong. And I've been thinking about this a lot tonight while I'm really just relaxing. But in the back of my mind, this TV show I was watching, it broke my heart so much. My best friend and the person on the TV show, their lover, my other best friend, not the romantic one, but an actual best friend I had since I was 15 years old. All those people that we were are gone. But they're still there in eternity. And the funny thing is, the tragedy of all this book of lost opportunities, is that so many things could be made right over over a simple meal together, breaking bread and talking like family. But so many people choose to make it so difficult and complicated. And so much time goes by. I haven't seen my best friend in more than half a decade. He disappeared right in front of my face, like a switch. His eyes turned black, and then he was gone. The other ones, they were never even who they claimed to be. They were who I thought they were, and I was wrong. So that's another layer on the grief onion, isn't it? That we all have in common. We lose people for who we think they are, and we also lose who they really are. And in addition to that, we lose who they could be, with us and without us. Everything we do is a choice, and one choice always disappears into nothingness. And some people choose to let love die. I don't understand. So I ask you this, all of you, throughout time and space that are listening. If you could hold on to one person, one memory, one version of yourself, if you could make one thing right, right now, not when a time machine is invented, not when whatever, if you can weave that tapestry back together, that broken part, if you can mend the seams, what choice would you be making right now if you had your best friend with you? If your parents were still there, or there in a different way? You know, what would your choices be like? What would life be like? Who would you be if you didn't cling to the mistakes and the ego of the past? It tells you to stay silent when you should be saying, I love you. Come back. Don't go. Or, I love you, but I have to go. What makes it that you don't say these things to each other? These silent things you guys keep to yourselves that change time, that change reality, all because things are left unsaid. How dare you? How dare you guys do this to each other and to yourselves? Don't you understand the versions of yourselves that you are destroying by being less than noble? I hope you guys can. I hope you can see the people in your life for who they are and love them. I hope you can make things right with people in your life. before they're gone, before you change into someone that doesn't care for them anymore. There are pieces of all of us inside all of us, little mirror balls. And the pieces change and rotate and dance. And some pieces are broken, but that makes it even more beautiful, doesn't it? So ask yourself, I mean, really ask yourself, are you the version of you want to be? Are you making the choices you want to make? Because so many aren't. You think you are, but you're not. Do you remember home? Do you remember what it felt like to be at home? Do you remember your friends? The laughter? And no, I'm not talking to one person. I'm talking to every human being, every living being. You've all had best friends. You've all had lovers that have disappeared. You've had parents that are gone or just cold. And you've been other versions of yourself from childhood to teenage to 20s and 30s. You've had different moods and throughout the day. You've been a bitch, you've been an asshole, you've been an angel, a saint, a sinner, a mother, a lover, a fighter, whatever. But underneath it all, you're still you. Are you listening to that you? A minute ago, please do what you think is right by your future self, by your present self. Take care of yourself. And don't live your life with regret. Don't be a version of you that didn't do the thing that eased your heart's suffering, or someone else. Think about that for a while. Really feel your way through it. Because I warned someone, and he didn't listen, and now we're living that nightmare. If we made different choices, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So think about what choices you're making and the lives you're affecting and the ripples you're sending out, because they will come back to you. Do the right thing. You are someone's child. You are someone's sibling. You could be someone's parent if you aren't already, and then someone's grandparent. Live a life of dignity, not of cliches, stereotypes, and regrets. Have a check-in with yourself, you guys, because I know there's a lot of you that would really like to make things better with a lot of people in your lives, myself included. And there are people in the world that I can make things better with right now, but I have to improve my ways. And I'm willing to do so. Because I'm not 16 anymore. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 30 anymore. So it's time to keep evolving. And the person I'm going to be throughout my 40s isn't someone that's going to live with regretful choices. So please do the same for yourself. And I know sometimes when we're watching these TV shows, and these people are doing this like, tragic story bullshit, it's just, I don't know how emotional or empathic you guys can be, but oh my god, so not worth it. Tragedy is kind of interesting to read about in a book. But life is so much more beautiful, than to worry about doing things in your life that cause you grief and then have you feeling so, oh, so sad, so dramatic, so because when I'm feeling this energy, I can't help but be so, ugh. After it flows through me, and I'm like, oh my god, there's like teenage girls somewhere in the world screaming at Justin Bieber, posters, and they're grieving and crying. And then there's grown ass men and women, arguing and fighting over stupid shit. All because they can't communicate with each other. And then people like me sitting at 2 in the morning picking up on it while we're watching a TV show, and then we have to channel this information through, and then just go. Do you have any idea the amount of trouble the world could save itself if you just stop bullshitting each other? I love you guys. Take care of yourself. I'm going to bed. Be nice. Call your mother.